Have you ever stopped to think about how artificial intelligence is right at this moment, reshaping the biggest companies in the world? What if I told you that a tech giant, one many already see as mature, is leading this revolution and opening up new paths for growth that the market is just starting to understand? Microsoft isn't just using artificial intelligence, it's changing itself to become the main platform for the AI economy. Its huge investment in OpenAI wasn't just a side bet. It was buying the key piece of its new business plan, made to rule the next age of computing. In this video, we're going to break down this plan. We'll show you how Microsoft is carrying out a three-part strategy to make money from AI. First, making Azure the essential AI factory for businesses by renting OpenAI's technology with very high profit margins. Second, putting Copilot into all its products, creating a big new source of subscription money from hundreds of millions of current users. Third, challenging Google's search monopoly, where every 1% of the market is worth billions of dollars. We'll look at the numbers, the special advantages that protect this plan, and the risks that could mess everything up. If you want to know why Microsoft might be the most important stock of the AI age, stick with me. The analysis starts now. Business model: more than software, a smart ecosystem. To understand today's Microsoft, we need to look beyond Windows. Their business model is built on three big pillars. The first and most important is intelligent cloud. Here we have Azure, the second largest cloud platform in the world. Companies of all sizes, from Netflix to startups, use Azure to host their websites, apps, and data. It's a very high-profit business that's growing fast. And this is where the magic of AI begins. The second pillar is productivity and business processes. This includes Office 365, now Microsoft 365, LinkedIn, and Dynamics 365. These are subscription software, say AS, that bring in steady, predictable money, which is every investor's dream. The third, more personal computing, is the old stuff. Windows, Bing's ad money, and the hardware division with Xbox and Surface devices. While still important, the company's future is clearly in the first two pillars. The big change is how AI, especially OpenAI's tech, is connecting these three pillars, turning old products into new ways to grow. And that's the strategy we're going to talk about now. Business strategy and outlook, the AI era. Microsoft's plan under Satya Nadella is clear: to be the go-to platform for the cloud and artificial intelligence age. The over $13 billion investment in OpenAI wasn't a gamble. It was making this plan solid. How does this turn into business? First, Azure OpenAI service. Microsoft gets to sell OpenAI's models like GPT-4 to its cloud customers. Any company that wants to build apps with the same tech as ChatGPT in a safe and scalable way runs it on Azure. This pulls them towards Microsoft's cloud, making it easier for customers to switch from competitors. Think about it. It's not just selling computing power, it's selling smarts. This means more money per customer and customers sticking around longer. Second, Microsoft Copilot. AI is being put into everything Microsoft does. In Microsoft 365, Copilot acts like a helper that writes emails, makes PowerPoint presentations, and looks at data in Excel. This is an extra paid feature, a new way to make money from hundreds of millions of users. It's thought that this could bring in tens of billions of dollars in extra yearly income. Third, search revolution with Bing. For years, Bing was a distant second to Google. But by adding ChatGPT, it became a much more powerful answer engine. Even though it's still a huge challenge, any small gain in the search market, which is worth hundreds of billions of dollars, means a massive amount of extra money for Microsoft. The possibilities are huge. We're talking about turning every software product into a smart, predicting service, opening up new ways to grow in how productive we are, how much we can automate, and how we look at data. Microsoft isn't just selling the picks and shovels of the AI revolution with Azure. It's building the most valuable applications with it. And finally, Microsoft is planting seeds for the future with a bunch of experimental projects and big ideas that promise to change not just their own business, but also how we use technology and interact with the world around us. These are some of the future uses of AI at Microsoft, still being tested and thought about, but with huge potential to shake things up. 1. AI as a scientist, speeding up discovery by light years. One of the most exciting areas of AI research at Microsoft is using it to help with scientific discovery. It can speed up processes that now take decades into just months or even days. MatterGen and materials science. In a cutting-edge project, MatterGen uses AI to find and design new materials with special qualities. Imagine being able to create in a computer simulation a material for more efficient and earth-friendly batteries, or a new compound to capture carbon, testing millions of combinations super fast. This could change industries from energy to electronics, making the Azure quantum platform the virtual lab you can't do without for new ideas. 2. Revolution in health and medicine. Microsoft is actively looking into using AI to speed up finding new medicines and making diagnoses better. Projects like RAD-Dino, working with health groups, aim to create AI models that can look at medical images and patient data to find diseases with amazing accuracy and speed. Another area is MAI, DX Orchestrator, a system that acts like a panel of medical experts to help with tricky diagnoses, which could make high-quality medicine available to more people. 3. AI for Good Lab. Through its AI for Good Lab, Microsoft supports experimental projects that use AI to help with human and environmental problems. This includes everything from mapping glaciers and keeping track of different animals through sounds to making farming more precise. While many of these projects don't make money right away, they are important testing grounds for new AI tech and show the company's long-term vision. 4. The rise of self-governing agents and AI super agencies. Besides copilots that help with tasks, the company sees a future filled with AI agents that act on their own and are proactive, able to do complex tasks from start to finish for the user. 5. The next generation of basic models and computing. Microsoft's research isn't just about apps, it's also about remaking the very basics of AI, creating models that are more efficient, capable, and can handle different types of information. In short, these efforts, even though they're just starting, show Microsoft's main direction. The future of the company's business seems more and more tied not just to selling software and cloud services, but to providing AI that is everywhere and changes things, able to solve some of the world's biggest problems and totally change how productive and creative humans are. The market potential for whoever leads these areas is huge, and Microsoft is clearly setting itself up to be one of the main builders of this AI-driven future. Financial strength. A great plan needs a strong financial base to work, and here Microsoft is a powerhouse. We're talking about a company with over $200 billion in yearly sales, growing by double digits. For a company this big, that's amazing. The growth is mostly driven by Azure, with rates that can be 30% to 40% per year. But what's even more impressive is how much money they make. Microsoft's operating profits are always high, around 40%. This is because software and cloud services can grow so much. Once the setup is built, each new customer adds a lot more to the profit than to the cost. Their financial sheet is truly strong. Microsoft makes tens of billions of dollars in free cash flow every year. This is the money left over after all expenses and investments. They have more cash than debt, which gives them amazing freedom to invest, buy other companies, and give money back to their shareholders, as we'll see later. This huge amount of cash allows Microsoft to make multi-billion-dollar bets, like with OpenAI, buying Activision Blizzard, and funding experimental projects and big ideas. Competitive advantage. What stops other companies from just copying Microsoft? The answer lies in their competitive advantages, or MOATs, which are wide and deep. The first and most obvious is the switching cost. Millions of companies around the world run on Microsoft's ecosystem. Their employees are trained on Windows, Office, and Teams. Their systems run on Azure. Moving all of that to a competitor like Google Workspace or Amazon Web Services would be super expensive, risky, and take a long time. The way AI works with Copilot makes this moat even deeper. The second is the network effect. LinkedIn becomes more valuable with every new user. Microsoft Teams becomes the default choice for company communication because everyone else in the industry already uses it. Xbox grows in value with more players and more developers making games for the platform. The third, made stronger by AI, is the scale and data advantage. Microsoft has one of the biggest cloud setups in the world, which lets it run things at lower costs than smaller competitors. Plus, It has access to a huge amount of data from its products, which is key for teaching and making its AI models better. This creates a good cycle. Better products bring in more users who create more data, which leads to even better products. And finally, the distribution advantage. By partnering with OpenAI, Microsoft can instantly give this cutting-edge technology to its huge customer base through Azure and Microsoft 365. No AI startup can match that global reach overnight. Risk and uncertainty. No investment is completely risk-free. And for Microsoft, despite its strength, risks exist and need to be watched. The first is regulatory and antitrust risk. As one of the biggest companies in the world, Microsoft is always being watched by regulators in Europe and the United States. The purchase of Activision Blizzard was one example. The investigation into how Teams works with Office is another. Stricter rules could slow down its growth or force changes to its business model. The second is intense competition. In the cloud market, the fight with Amazon, AWS, and Google Cloud Platform is tough and needs huge ongoing investments. The race to be the best in AI also puts Microsoft directly against Google, which has its own powerful models, like Gemini. A mistake in how they do things, or a big tech step forward by a competitor is a real risk. Third, the risk of AI strategy execution. The partnership with OpenAI is smart, but complicated. There are risks to their reputation if the AI creates problems, risks of depending too much on others, and the risk of not making money from these new ideas as fast as the market expects. The cost to train and run these AI models is super high, and the money they make back from it is still just starting. Finally, the cyclical and macroeconomic risk. Companies might cut their tech budgets during a downturn, which could slow down the growth of Azure and Microsoft 365. Even though a lot of their money comes in regularly, they aren't safe from a global economic crisis. How they use their money. What does a company that makes so much money do with it? How the leaders use their money tells us a lot about what's important to them and how much they believe in the future. Microsoft has a great and balanced way of doing this. The most important thing is to put money back into the business itself. Most of the money goes to research and development and making their Azure data centers bigger. This is what helps them grow in the future, especially with the technology needed for AI. The second thing is buying other companies that fit their plan. Microsoft doesn't just buy companies for no reason. They buy companies that work well with what they already have. Like buying GitHub to get more computer programmers, LinkedIn to be the best in professional networking, and more recently, Activision Blizzard to be a big player in games and build for the metaverse. Their partnership with OpenAI also fits here as a very big, smart investment. Lastly, giving money back to the people who own parts of the company. What's left over goes back to investors in two ways. First, through bigger and bigger payments. Microsoft has a strong history of giving more money to its owners every year. Second, and more importantly, by buying back its own shares. When the company buys back its own shares, there are fewer shares out there. This means each owner has a bigger piece of the company, and it usually makes the share price go up over time. This careful way of using money shows that the leaders are focused on both growing for a long time and making money for the owners right now. In conclusion, we've reached the end of our analysis, and the picture is clear. The investment idea for Microsoft has been rewritten. We're no longer talking about a stable software giant, but a company that's really speeding up, driven by a smart and bold bet on artificial intelligence. Let's quickly go over the business plan. With Azure OpenAI Service, Microsoft isn't just selling cloud setup, it's selling smarts, becoming the main provider of the shovels and picks for the AI revolution. With Microsoft Copilot, they made a super valuable product to make money from their existing customers, turning old products like Office into new ways to grow. And with Bing, they have a risky bet that could pay off big time. Lastly, Microsoft is leading many exciting new projects that are still being tested and thought about, but they have a huge chance to change things. This attack is protected by something almost impossible to get past: a worldwide way to sell things, a connected business system, and most importantly, the financial strength of a fortress that makes tens of billions of dollars in free cash every year to pay for this tech war. Of course, there are real risks. Competing with Google in the AI space is a huge fight. Government rules are always a threat, and the cost to be first in this race is super high. Success isn't guaranteed, but for the investor, the main question is this: what company is in the best spot to capture the value of the biggest change since the internet? Microsoft, with Satya Nadella in charge, not only shared a clear idea, but also pulled off a brilliant strategic move by teaming up with OpenAI, getting special access to the technology that's shaping the future. Microsoft made its boldest bet. For investors, the decision now is to figure out the cost of this big goal and decide if they want a front-row seat to what promises to be the next decade of technology, a decade shaped and made money from by artificial intelligence. What do you think? Is Microsoft a buy for you? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you liked this analysis, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next videos. Always remember that this video is not a recommendation to buy or sell. Always do your own research. Thanks for watching and see you next time.